Hello, and welcome back to the SKAM Watch Podcast, an episode rewatch podcast of Julie Andem's Norwegian TV drama SKAM. Dramedy? Would you call it a dramedy? I would call it television. And on today's episode, we will be discussing Season 1, Episode 4, Go For It, You Little SL Star Star. The description of the episode says, Sana and Vilda want for Ava to get in touch with penetrator Chris in the third year so that they can be invited to party on their Rust bus and gain more popularity around the school. In Chris's Rust group is William, the most popular boy in school. So in today's episode, we just chat some shit about that. This is an interesting episode because we meet William, we meet Penetrator Chris, we kind of get to know more of the people who are going to be there throughout the entire series. So that's kind of what we discuss in today's episode. Thanks so much. That was my phone getting a text message. I'm so popular. It's from my mom. Thanks for listening. So, this episode is called Go For It, You Little Wait, so you know how the first episode is called You Look Like a Slut?
Yeah.
I realized, the way that I thought I was recording the intro, saying the title, was I was, censoring myself, by saying it quieter. But the way that I heard it back was, I was trying to be, seductive with it. And that is not my intention, dear listeners. So the title is Go For It, You Little Slut. And I'm not going to take my voice down at the end because I think the outcome can be different depending on your ears.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hear it that way, but carry on.
Thank you. So what did we think of this episode? This episode was quite important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I now gauge these episodes based on how many iconic GIF moments were produced from them.
So many.
This is one of them. Yeah, this is a good episode.
It starts with Ava and Jonas in her bed, and
no.
Yes.
What?
This is episode 4.
Episode 4. Yeah.
I'm literally watching it right now.
Oh, sorry. You know what? That is so my fault. I apologize. You are right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was thinking outside at the bus, but you're right. That's episode 3.
Correct.
So just delete that, rewind it back. Starts with.
Leave it in.
So episode 4 starts with Ava and Jonas in bed, and Jonas is like, I had a nightmare, Ava. You were dancing and all red, and it's really weird. He says that he was like,
I think that he did not have a nightmare. I think he's just nervous about the fact that she has friends and she's gonna leave him.
Yeah.
He didn't have a nightmare.
You don't think so?
I do think he had the nightmare, and I think he's trying to shame her for it as if it's something she actually did.
Right.
Which, 1, even if she did, who cares? And 2, just stop projecting. I've noticed this trend with him where anytime he's going through something, he doesn't seem to have the capacity or willingness to deal with his emotional stuff. And so he just projects it onto Eva so that she can process it, verbalize it, and then bring it into the conversation because he seems incapable of doing that.
I had a friend whose roommate had a dream that she took $10 from his wallet. A dream. He has not spoken to her since this dream because he thinks it was manifested from some sort of energy or wrong or something. They genuinely didn't speak for months, and they just moved out of the apartment, and they haven't seen, they did not see each other since he had that dream.
Wow.
I think that's just a really important story to get out there. But
do you guys put that much stock in your dreams?
Well, first of all, that feels like a scenario that some super intense philosopher would come up with as a moral or ethical what would you do moment.
Oh, really?
That doesn't sound like reality.
I mean, he's dumb, so yeah.
Wow. I think I put some stock in my dreams, but I don't necessarily think that I know enough to understand what they actually mean. So I just kind of like think about them, take some type of meaning from it, and I move on.
What about you, Sam?
No, I don't think that I don't think that I've like put a lot of stock in them. I think they're entertaining. I have a very active imagination, so sometimes they're super entertaining, but I would never be like, oh, I dreamed this and like manifested it into reality.
Yeah. Mine are just like political anxieties. I've had a lot of dreams about hostage situations. I've had a lot of dreams where I've been present for drone strikes. Yeah, I have a lot of dreams where like someone is in the dream for a really long time and like we have like a good rapport and a good relationship, and then like cinematically there will be a shadow upon them, and then it will be revealed that they were like a bad person the entire time and like plotting against the situation.
Like they took $10 from you.
Right, yeah. No, like the one I remember is like I was like helping these parents trying to find their kidnapped child in this castle. And then like it was revealed that like one of the person I was trying to help like actually plotted to get the kid kidnapped.
Whoa.
So it's just anxiety. So no, I don't take much stock in it because I'm well aware of my anxieties.
Have you guys ever like lucid dreaming?
What's that now?
Allegedly, it's like where you're kind of aware of the dream, so you're able to kind of control what's happening, or you kind of are able to decide versus watching it like a movie where you're just observing.
Yes. That is exactly how I have nightmares. If I'm having a nightmare, I know that it's a nightmare. I know that it's not real. I'm still terrified. So I'm like actively participating in the nightmare and actively trying to wake myself up.
Yeah.
It is very
That's
stressful.
intense.
I guess I have. I've had a lot of dreams recently where I've like been started on a journey and I'm like aware enough where I'm like, oh, this is going to be really tedious. Like just wake up. So I think, is that what that is?
Said that before he went on his...
What'd you say?
Imagine if that's what Frodo Baggins had said after he
I mean, I probably would have enjoyed it.
Way too long and tedious, so staying in the Shire.
I'm like over it.
I would have been more, I would have related more. But so I don't know. I can't decide if he's had the dream or if he hasn't had the dream. Either way, he's expressing some things that he should be communicating better elsewhere. Because I definitely think he does have this anxiety, and we see this in the next episode. We have this he has this anxiety that like she's becoming this other person or just not who he wants her to be. And I don't know if those are different or not, but I do love that whenever her mom comes in and he just like, I love that she just like hurls him over. I think that's fun.
One of the things I want to like bookmark and remember for later is that when her mom walks in the room, she pushes him off the bed and he stays there down on the floor.
Right.
We're gonna come back to this in later seasons.
Yeah. Oh, I like us like talking about everything like no, like not worrying about spoilers. I meant to bring that up.
Okay, so then like just to like contrast this with when she is in bed with Penetrator Chris and her mom walks in and he like gets up off the floor and like goes and introduces himself and like hello. Love that. I think that like when he did that, I remembered when Jonas just hid on the side of her bed, but then was still giving Ava shit about meeting her mom. So
I also think it's interesting just how often she's hiding people from her mom. Like when the girls are at her place later, again, it's like, why does that have to be a secret? I know you have dinner plans, but...
Well, it's because her mom doesn't know who these people are. Her mom thinks she's friends with Ingrid and Sarah. So like, if she introduces these other people, she'll have to explain why she's not hanging out with Ingrid and Sarah.
Does she though? Are you only allowed to have a certain number of friends?
Yes.
There'll be a conversation. Yeah, like there'll be a conversation like, oh, where did you meet these girls? Like where?
They're just new. They're from a different group.
Okay, well, my mother was like way more hands-on and like knew who all my friends were, and like there would have been a conversation about what happened to the other two.
Yeah, because like whenever she has this conversation with her mom like wants to know all this information, but like, how about you stick around for once, mom? You know, I mean, she's never there,
and we'll get to that fight in a couple episodes, right? Like,
and then when she is there, she's asking her about her grades. Like,
yeah,
are you kidding?
Like, what about her heart? There was I was looking at this, like, the other aspects of, like, the social media and the texting from this week.
Mm-hmm.
And Eunice texted Ava. It was like, am I gonna hide here all day? Like, can I leave?
Oh my gosh.
I love that. And honestly, looking back through, so I've kind of, like, for myself, I've kind of compiled documents of all of the social media throughout the next few episodes, and it adds
cool.
so much more to the story.
Will you share that with us? Are you going to make us do the work?
You know what? We'll see. But it does
Wow.
it does really add such a layer to it. Like, especially with upcoming things about Penetrator Chris, like, things are a little more premeditated than...
I was going to say that without knowing about it, but just from, well, I guess we'll get there.
Yeah.
But there was a moment where a thing happened and I was like, this was a choice and not just in that moment.
Right. So that's been very interesting to me because it does, you know, because obviously, like, if you're watching this on TV, which I don't have the numbers for that, and I wonder how many people actually did versus the website, but, like, you know, you don't need to have all the other, like, additional content, but I think it adds so much more.
It does.
But I'm also a completist.
Really does.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you said you're a what?
Completist.
What is that? You need the full...
Yeah, I need everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like, yeah. Yeah, now they're at the schoolyard, and this is whenever Sana takes Ava's phone and, like, follows P. Chris. Penetrator.
And then
likes Christian name.
Penetrator
Chris, yeah.
And likes, that stressed me out for a minute.
Oh,
like, when she took her phone and then started liking stuff, because I don't double tap in that way. Like, I don't spam the person that I newly followed.
Now,
like, I'll like whatever they post from the point I start following them on. But, like, to do that thing where she was, like, scrolling, just like, I was like, oof.
That is very much a flirting thing.
That messes with my brand.
I mean, like, Sana knows, like, what's up, though, because that is, like...
Oh, absolutely,
because he does, like, then DM her, and, like, that's, like, she knew what she was doing, which I think is so great.
Have you ever pulled that move?
Yeah, like, drunkenly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm not proud of it, but...
That's okay.
Whenever you like things on Instagram, do you hit the heart, or do you double tap the picture?
I hit the heart.
I think I double tap. I do both, actually. It depends, because if it's short enough that I'm not, like, scrolling to read the caption, I'll probably double tap it. But if it's the kind where I'm like,
same, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm just wondering.
I wonder if Instagram, like,
knows.
I'm sure they do, but I wonder if they do anything with that metric, like, of information.
Like, sell it to the government, probably. I'm joking.
Yeah, but I mean, what significance would it have for them about double tapping versus clicking the heart? Like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so that happens, and then, but wait,
before that, William, yeah. Before that, we have the dramatic arrival of the series heartthrob,
William.
Well, actually, before that is when Vilda was like, "Does Sana belong in our group?"
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I had her, like, meltdown.
Vilda's very messy. Upon rewatching it, she's very messy.
I realized I was a lot more forgiving of her the first time around,
Same.
and I'm really struggling with her this time.
I know.
Thank you all.
I know. Sam was not on board. Because I think we've talked about it before. I think I edited it out because it was part of, like, a longer rambling I was having. But, like, whenever I watch things like this, I, like, always assume people will get better, or, like, there will be growth here. So I think I just automatically kind of forgave, or, like, gave room for her ignorance. But it is
especially because we were also, like, ignorant as far as viewers of what would happen,
right? Or,
like, the fact that somebody had someone's back when they didn't realize it, and then they continue to, like, be horrible to them, or I'm trying to, like, with Sana.
Well, that's what's so interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to talk about it, we're going to talk about it. At the end of this episode, she throws she like stands up for Vilda, and we don't learn that for so long. And Vilda is still out there talking shit. And again, something I've noticed in looking at the text messages is that they have a group chat with all the girls, and then they have a group chat without Sana.
Which I was wondering about, and I didn't know that because I was thinking about the fact that they get together without her in this episode, and I again was just like, I know about this shit.
Yeah, well, and it kind of adds like a layer of understanding to her anxieties in that final season. Insofar as how it manifests itself with technology. So I just found that interesting, and so I'm definitely more like laser focused on like Sana's development within this friend group this go round, and Vilda's like a little shit.
So I think the reason I experienced Vilda so differently than you did when I watched it was because that I don't watch a show and like hope for character development. I like watch the show as it's happening and like experience that like as it's happening. And she was not. There were not a lot of redeeming qualities in her until the last possible moment.
Yeah.
And even then, it's still just like, ugh.
When did you come around for her?
I mean, really, truly, like the last episode.
Really? Wow.
But it was like, it was also so annoying because it was like, the perfect example of like, be kind. Everyone you know is fighting a battle. Blah blah blah.
I think I texted you that when you were talking about Vilda to me while you were watching season 2.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was ridiculous through the whole thing. And then I think it maybe around the time that she started dating Magnus that I was like, okay, he like humanized her for me. Because she got to like, I think she got to start being like a real person rather than like a caricature. She was the one who was always a character.
That's
of high school girls, always.
Yeah, that's something I actually want to talk about in the next episode. About like how Vilda is like all about goals. But we can get there in the next episode. Because the next episode is more kind of starkly about a goal she is trying to achieve.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this episode, so William arrives. We meet William.
Yes, to Young
They're
Thug.
Like, to Young Thug. Like, he's like the hottest boy in school. And I'm not going to hate on him. I don't mind him. I've watched enough TV to like know when the heartthrob arrives. But something
I mean, it's not like they were subtle about it.
No, for sure.
Down and music, and he just I mean, I know we've talked about his coat, but like, guys, come on, don't hate on that coat. It's a nice coat.
It's a really awkward line.
It didn't look warm. Like it didn't look like
a
seasonal.
Nice fall coat, but that's fine.
No, I don't want to. I want to let you have this moment.
I just know that like a lot of people don't agree, and like.
But a lot of people do agree too.
Just want
Norway
everyone
loves
who does.
William.
Okay, good. Good.
And I think
he just,
fine.
I think, doesn't quite do it for me. Like, I don't hate him, but he's also just. When they said that that's the guy, I wasn't like, ew, what? It was just like, oh.
Actually,
okay.
Maryam, I did look and see, like, you posted that picture of my Snapchat.
Was that a violation? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. The girl that, like, agreed and, like, said yes about William, her, like, picture was like of Tim Riggins' jersey in Friday Night Lights.
Yes.
And I was like, oh yeah, like these are my people. Like if you're a Tim Riggins fan, you're definitely like pro William.
Okay,
so there are two types of people in the world.
No, so this is what I was gonna say. I just realized this week. Like I never buy in or like see whenever shows present the heartthrob, I never see it. Like for me personally. Like I understand it objectively, but I don't think I've ever been presented with like a heartthrob except for maybe like Ephraim from Everwood, if that was his name. Like
seriously? Okay, sorry. My whole brain is in there. Sorry.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Wow. I would just like not use the term heartthrob.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like for me, that's like you know, and like if we're doing Friday Night Lights, like obviously Matt Saracen is like
my.
He was mine until Michael B.
Friday
Jordan
was
appeared.
Because they had like multiple heartthrobs. The whole
Right,
show was
that's
heartthrob.
true.
Like one could argue every male character was a heartthrob except for Billy.
I just never saw it for Tim Riggins for me, and so like that's why whenever William was presented, I was like, oh, he's the heartthrob for most people. Yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
I think that we could totally do another podcast that's dedicated to Friday Night Lights because I just realized that that's the only show I think that I've gone back and rewatched multiple times.
I haven't.
And I realized in going back, I like Matt Saracen less when I rewatch, and I'm noticing that there's characters in. I don't remember exactly why. I just remember that when I rewatched it, I think I maybe found him a little bit
pathetic.
That's not the word.
No, because he like went through a lot. It was just like a little bit intolerable. Like I just kind of found him like a little bit much. But that could also just be the fact that I was kind of being a little bit politicized at the time, and it was just kind of like white people or white men.
I feel like that's a show
kind of a turnoff.
That's a show you can't take your politics into.
I know, and so I've now come to a place where I've like learned how to like kind of turn things off and just accept, as we've discussed, like your problematic faves.
It's like eat a sheet cake,
so I kind of,
you know.
Just eat a sheet cake and yell it into the cake because like the Nazis are morons.
Right. Just don't listen.
So I think I want to go back. Anyway, I'm just wondering, do you like find that when you rewatch series that you're more critical of the characters that you love?
Yes.
It just depends with time.
It depends on how I feel about them because I could be more critical and also like way more forgiving.
Yeah.
When you know. Which is like what's happening now. I'm way more forgiving with Vilda now than I was when I watched it the first time.
And I'm the exact opposite, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
Although,
but it's only forgiving because I'm like, oh, you've got a lot of shit going on.
Right. And I like
hiding it.
And since we're saying it all, I am watching. You know, obviously we're watching it now with the knowledge that like her mother has some sort of issue with alcohol, maybe some sort of like depression or whatever issue going on. You know, it's unnamed, so we're not going to name it. We're not doctors. No. So I am watching it, and that's, I think, in the next episode I will talk about it more, but that does kind of shade in a lot of, I think, how Vilda presents herself. But whatever.
No, I think to that point, like when, you know, you're talking about watching this time around with the awareness of like Vilda's backstory, and I feel like I see that and I acknowledge that, but it's also just like, I don't see how that relates to her just being racist towards Sana or like kind of bringing that, like, I don't know. Everyone has their story. Like I've said, everyone has their story. And at the end of the day, you just like, you can't be racist. That's where I'm at with Vilda right now.
Okay. So that scene ends. We meet William. Penetrator Chris is like the guy to get into the parties, to get the cool people, to get the Russ, fucking whatever. And then Ava and Eunice and Isak are on the tram going somewhere. Tram, bus, trolley, whatever. And Ava gets her first DM from Penetrator Chris.
I mean, you can say P. Chris. Like, it's fine.
Chris. And she lies about it to Eunice. And it's messy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the midst of that, right? Like they make the plan.
Yes.
For Friday.
The plan for Friday gonna, like, for dinner.
Get together. He's gonna meet her mom.
Yeah.
Which I want to talk about because he's like acting oblivious to why like she wouldn't want him to meet her mom.
Right.
Like, why haven't I met your mom? But he knows why he hasn't met her.
But does he? Because I've had friends, like I'm very close to my mom, and pretty much like if something happens, she's gonna know about it because I need her feedback. Yeah. But not everyone has that relationship with their parent. So for him, like maybe he doesn't think her mom knows at all what's going on.
I don't know.
Or maybe he might not know that she is hiding this from her. You know?
That too.
Yeah, I guess those are all right. They all could be right.
And I think at the end of the day, it just continues to reflect that poor communication just leads to people coming to
Right.
false conclusions.
Like, if only these 16-year-olds had the emotional intelligence that we do.
Seriously, guys.
Which is a lull, because I don't. But yeah. So, you know, so it is interesting. We don't know why that is such a hesitant thing. But Ava then gets invited to the party on Friday with Penetrator Chris, and so they have to talk to the beer man, and Chris has to call the beer man, and she has a very funny scene where she's on the phone with him, and she's just such a fucking great actress. I love her so dearly.
Yeah. Agreed. I love her so much.
And this is when we get the iconic Sana gif moment of the "you talk too much, shh, walk away."
And then, like, when she walks away, and then just like the thing she does with her hand, it was just so, and just like she's like, I'm leaving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such authority.
And it just looks so satisfying for her.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had like a satisfying moment like that before, where you like told like shut it down?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like many a time. Yeah.
I'm
trying to think of a specific one.
I had one where I took a line like straight from Mad Men and told a girl like, I don't think about you at all.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did it kind of lessen the impact of it because it was from Mad Men?
No, she didn't watch Mad Men. There's no way.
Oh, but you knew.
I knew it was from Mad Men.
I love that.
And you're like, thanks, Peggy.
Yeah, it was really great. It was a really great moment for me.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've never been
you know, there's just so many that I can't even isolate one.
Wow.
No, I feel like I have those. No, I feel like a lot of them happen more online now that I think about it. Just kind of like shutting down certain conversations. But
can we do a moratorium on like any sort of mic drop gif, or like that guy like in the group doing like the and like his friends? I would love for
that one. No, we can't do a moratorium on that one because I still do like that one.
Oh no, I like it, but like when people like, I don't feel like you can give yourself a mic drop.
Mic drop yourself.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Unless
and I
it's
just
like
saw
IRL.
someone. That guy on the thread.
Yeah.
My thread the other day, mic dropped himself, and it was like, okay, first of all, nothing you said even made sense.
Right.
So it was
like
certainly
you didn't
not
even
a
have
mic drop.
in the first place.
To drop, right? Or he had a
like,
mic, but nobody was at his show.
Like cupped hands in the corner of your empty room. Yeah.
At 3 a.m. He's like posting. He's like, I got her now.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It's like we're asleep.
Yeah, that's like you can't like talk shit and be your own hype man. It just doesn't work that way.
No. In the final scene, we have the iconic girl squad. I hate using the word squad. Arriving to the party, to Dick in the Air by Peaches. Iconic moment. The party looks like kind of
I just
not
forgot
fun.
Something that I wanted to bring up. I forgot, and it's important.
No,
I'm so sorry. So William has arrived. He's now left. We're back at normal speed. Slow motion is over. And then after Sinad does all her double taps for P. Chris, Eva finally grabs her phone back, and then Sinad like makes her exit. And so then Vilda is still like exasperated because she's just like, she literally cannot be a part of our group, and then says that she looks like the woman from, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, Andenes Makt, which is this Norwegian show about clairvoyance. It's more than that, but that's a part of,
like,
they bring in a clairvoyant, mediums, yes. And so this clairvoyant, I was like, oh wow, is there another show that has like a Muslim character in it?
Right.
But it's literally not. It's just this woman who's definitely in her late 40s, potentially early 50s, with jet black spiky hair, and she just wears all black all the time, and I'm pretty sure has like a shirt with like a bedazzled cross at one point. So it's just like definitely not Sina's actual doppelganger or twin by any means, but I just thought that was funny.
That is funny
because you brought that in.
Yeah, because you'd expect it to be some sort of like racist Islamophobic thing, but it's actually just this like weird medium lady.
Yeah, and also I found it interesting though because Sina kind of ends up being a clairvoyant, so you know she like predicts a lot of things that end up happening. So I was like, was this a choice, or did that just kind of happen, a happy accident? So
do you think they ever thought about doing a crossover episode?
Honestly, it probably came up, and then they probably like canceled the idea, kind of like what happens here when we're spitballing.
I love a crossover episode.
Continue. Sorry. So you were saying.
Final scene, dick in the air, peaches, iconic image of them walking forward all together
Truly.
with the bag. And they get there.
That looks kind of like an H&M bag in my mind for some reason.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And Ava's like, please don't leave me. And talking to Noura, like, please don't leave me. And I love that, like, Noura has to go because she gets a call and she's talking in Spanish.
Yeah.
And what does she say?
Before that, though,
well,
is William's sweater. Like,
Oh,
that's one of the first things we see when we walk in. So, like, Sam, why don't you talk to us about your feelings on the sweater?
Sam, where was he before this party that he had to come in that outfit?
Yeah, he was an aspiring professor.
Okay, guys, I just feel like when you're young, what you think looks cool and what actually is cool are two different things. And he's just, like, trying to figure it out. So, just cut him some slack.
But then, like, where were his friends, to say, hey, man, not a good look, like, you tried it, but, like, it's not.
I think my question and why I ask where was he before is that it's
also
a very different style to everyone else at the party. Like, he's not wearing his Penetrators sweatshirt.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like he was
and,
at
like,
some
his
sort of
hair
choral
also looks
performance.
ridiculous.
Yes.
He looks like a what, Alex?
It looks like he was at some sort of, like, choral performance. Not participating, but, like, attending. Maybe, like, a cousin, a sister.
Or he kind of looked like
sister.
what the guys used to look like in my choir when we would go specifically to sing at the senior citizen home.
Wait, I love that for him.
Yeah.
You are the worst.
Is that where we think he was?
Sam, imagine how much more, like, adorable he would be if he had just arrived from, like, a old folks
volunteering.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
No, I'm
and
not.
like that was a choice. Like his hair was parted and like combed a certain way. Like that was intentional. Like he was in front of a mirror with his layered sweater and his hair, and he's like, you know what? I look dope.
You can't see on the podcast, but Sam is aghast.
So I have like nothing to say about this.
No, I'm here for his look. I'm here for him.
I'm not here for that look. I think that's what happens when you are the popular boy in school and you think you can do no wrong, but then you make a mistake. This isn't personal.
Yeah, it doesn't sound personal.
Yeah, I mean, he just like grows on you over time.
Like a fine wine, like he was drinking.
I mean, like, okay, I think it's important to like really note for our listeners that I did not like watch this first episode and go, "Oh, William, what a dreamboat." Okay, I watched the first episode
but
and was
like,
"Fine
if
this
you
guy's
did,
kind of
listeners.
cool."
I don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine if that is what does it for you. But like, it was further in time where I was like, "Oh." I think my exact words to you, Alex, were, "Oh, he's not a dick. He's just troubled."
Right, which you love. Yeah.
I mean, it's the chicken complex all over the place,
Every
guys.
time.
Well, actually, okay, so here's the thing. If we want to talk about crossovers and shows, so here's the crossover. A friend of mine who I got watching this show let me know her thoughts about William and when he first stepped onto the set. And she said, I'm literally so shook that William is the popular guy. His hair is so greasy and looks like a wig. And then she said, here's where the crossover happens. He looks like the Bachelorette doll. And this year, on this season of The Bachelorette, as part of their international journey, they went to Norway. And if you're not familiar with this season, one of the Bachelors named Adam brought a doll that was supposed to be his twin, and it has like this really intense wig. You should just Google it, Bachelorette season 13 doll.
I mean, like, we'll tweet it out, guys. Like, we'll tweet it out.
Yeah.
It's important that you see it, but also,
I'm looking
like,
it up because I haven't seen it yet.
I can show it to you through the screen, or you should just Google it.
Why did he bring a doll with him?
Because they each do a thing when they first get out of the limo to try to have like an impression on her.
Adam
so
Jr.
she's gonna get rid of them the first night. Yes, Adam Jr.
Also, guys, like
thoughts, yay or nay? The hair is a match.
Oh my god.
Oh, and they started doing interviews with the doll. So like it was talking heads where somebody would like speak on behalf of the doll with a French accent, and he would say things like, "I am so disgusted," and it was like really weird.
Okay, but like what you're not saying is that he got a rose the first night. So
well, we know she's
actual
fucked up,
Adam.
So.
You know,
Ooh.
She did not choose the right person.
Well, she didn't choose anybody. She got left to the defaults.
Wait, she got what?
Yeah.
It was like a default. She didn't choose him.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, but she
that's
did.
like a conversation for another time.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just trying to start a fight.
I've got some things to say.
Yeah, so William's
But
outfit.
anyways, William.
Yeah, now to contrast with his look, we've got Chris, who I think is absolutely rocking the snapbacks. Her jackets are always on point. And I just think she owns her look. Like it's just I think what William wants to be, which is effortlessly cool.
Chris has in spades.
Chris has it.
Are you still making fun of me?
She did that.
I don't know. This is about you. It's about William.
Okay.
No, but yeah, I like Chris has just always been from day one been so cool. Like even the way that they all walk into the home.
Well, she's so confident.
Yeah,
she's everything I wish I was
like
at that age.
Like a what's up like type of head thing, which is so cool. And I love her talking to that guy. And because like you know that guy at the party, like if she could have had her way with him had she not been averted.
And I love how direct she is about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like that moment with Isak and the spoon. Like she doesn't care. Like she's just like, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes, I love whenever at this gathering here, Penetrator Chris and Ava are like flirting. And Penetrator Chris calls Ava brainy, which is something that Jonas has never called her. And she's quite into that. I think Penetrator Chris is just saying words, you know, I don't think he knows much about Ava. Because, wasn't Ava just like saying things that Jonas told her about Russ? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just like
Penetrator Chris and Jonas should just fuck. But Vilda like thinks she's in with William, and she like walks by Chris and says that, and Chris is like, oh yeah, she's like really slutty. They're like, go for it, you little slut. And then I like that like the guy she's talking to has like a moment, and then Chris is like, oh, like I can, like I'm slutty too, like
yeah, because he's like considering like, oh, should I be after
right? I do like the kind of like playfulness with the word. Because we've talked about this, but like teenagers love like using those words, and I think it's interesting that this episode is kind of bookended by like the virgin whore dichotomy with Jonas's dream, and then with Vilda and Chris kind of reclaiming it in a way that like suits them. It's very cool. Shout out to the Norwegian band Slutface, who are so great. They're a Norwegian band called Slutface, and they're good. Big fans of the show. SKAM, that is, not ours. They don't know about it.
Now.
Yeah. Big fans of the show.
But to go back to what you were saying about when Penetrator Chris calls Ava smart, not only is there like shock on her face when he says that she's smart, but when he says that like he's into that, her face like she makes like a face where she's literally like, I don't understand. Wait, what?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you find this attractive? I don't understand.
It's also funny because like his delivery was almost like it was just like a shitty pickup line.
Oh, for sure.
But I do
and
think
like,
he also, to some degree, probably meant it somewhere. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But for her, it was just like that meant so much, and it was like this possibility that she'd never imagined for herself. Like, oh, I could be the smart one.
And it's
I just had a thought that I don't know if I agree with fully, but I'm gonna say it anyways.
Go ahead.
I think that like he could use that as a line because his way to pick up girls is to be nice to them, and Jonas is kind of an asshole. So
I don't think he's that
but
much
I also
of an asshole.
genuinely Who?
Yeah,
Jonas?
I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Jonas?
I feel like upon our rewatch, like I have more. Well, I don't think I've ever had any sort of like ill feelings about him, but I feel like have you always kind of had these feelings about him, Sam?
I haven't.
No, I haven't. I haven't. I think I'm kind of being reminded that first season Jonas is just younger.
Yeah.
And he is not as mature as like later seasons. Like, I mean, I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's a really good person. I think in season 3, how he like
right
is a really good friend to Isak. I just think at this point in his life, at this point in time in this relationship, there are some issues.
Right. I don't disagree.
So I think that he just doesn't know how to be he's just like not mature enough to like be in a healthy relationship like this.
Do you think she
fine.
is?
Like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, not at this time.
Right.
Like, not at this time.
I find him like really upsetting.
Really?
And I didn't the first time. Like the first time around, I think it was very much like, you know, they're 16, 17, and this is just how the relationship goes.
Yeah.
But I think now, because like I hold the show in such high esteem, it can be a challenge to divorce the first season character from who they eventually become. But it's also like just so many of the things that he does I'm noticing now that I didn't notice before, and like the dynamics of the relationship and how he communicates. And I feel like he's always gaslighting her and like not being accountable for what he does or, you know, or for what he doesn't say, right? Like he just wants her to trust. But it's like, what are you doing to foster a space where trust can flourish? Like not much.
Wow,
you know?
That was beautiful language.
Yeah. I don't know.
My mom's a therapist.
I think that this season 1 Jonas is hard for me to like, and is he's just he is continually disappointing me because I know he's better than this.
Right.
But when he's in the spotlight and it's his time to be the story, which is now, even though it's like Ava's season, it's like his season 2. He is just like letting me down. But I also know that like this is not forever, and he's gonna mature so much.
I think like what I'm seeing now is like, obviously I agree with you on so many of those points regarding that he's like shitty and like is expecting trust when he hasn't done anything to earn it. But I think this kind of goes back to what I was saying a while ago. Like, it's so interesting to jump into their relationship and not see it develop, because like I kind of don't get why they're together.
Yeah.
Like I think they like love each other in like a certain way. But like I don't know why he like loves her, and I don't know why she loves him. And like I find that interesting. And that's kind of why I don't like we see Jonas being shitty, sure. And I can you know, I think Ava has her moments, especially in this episode, she kind of ghosts him regarding this dinner that is seemingly important to him. But so I don't know. It's just weird because I don't get why they're together. Like obviously they are, and I think some relationships, especially when you're young like that, are kind of like that because, and I think that kind of adds the power to what Penetrator Chris says. Like you're smart. Like, you know, Jonas probably like I don't know what Jonas like loves about Ava or like is into about Ava, and I don't know what Ava's like into about Jonas. You know, so I do find that interesting. And I think that's why it's so impactful when he says that, because it's like, oh, like, we don't hear that from her boyfriend.
So my read on their whole dynamic right now is, so obviously he was with Ingrid, and so I think that added an element of what I imagine to be some excitement or like intensity to the start of the relationship. You know, the fact that it couldn't be.
Right.
And then it was.
Forbidden
and
fruit.
Then, yes. And so then when it happened, and I'm sure once it got out, like Eva had to stand by her decision, you know, whether it was that they hooked up and got caught and then started a relationship, or he decided to like actually break up. And then I'm imagining that it was a less formal and a bit more like a sort of caught situation / we want to be together. But I think at that point, like we've said this in past episodes, like Eva was iced out. So she needed him. And in order to make that decision worth it, she had to stick with him and make it work.
That's
I
so
think
true.
For him, he's less invested, but I think is codependent in a different way, because I noticed that anytime that Eva's ready to just be like, you know what, I'm done, he freaks out and is like, no, you need to stay, you need to stay, you need to stay. And so it's just that dynamic of like who's in power and who's, you know, able to control the situation.
And it's almost
he needs to be needed.
To me, it's almost like they're together because they're together. You know?
Yeah, I think they are. I don't think they're together necessarily because like it didn't start in a healthy way.
Right.
I'm assuming.
Right.
So I think it's really hard for it to continue in a healthy way because who knows what the foundation was at the start of the relationship.
Right.
But then I think Chris like presents this alternative,
right,
which is you don't have to be with someone who doesn't make you feel good about yourself.
Right.
And so like there's this element of like he is a little bit of a fuckboy, but he also is kind of endearing and sweet. And he's like every time he sees her, he seems genuinely like into her.
Right.
And like once, you know, he's not being a jerk. Yeah, as opposed to just comfortable. And then he also is like not being a jerk. Like he's not flirting with her in an obnoxious way. Like he's complimenting her and being, you know, affirming. Whereas like Jonas hasn't done that. Affirming for her as far as like where she was at. Like it seems like she really needed someone to tell her she's smart.
I just keep forgetting throughout all of this that he fucking has a girlfriend.
I know. And that's why he's a boy.
All men. Yes, all men.
Yes, all men. Hashtag yes, all men.
Okay, well, I'm glad we aired that because that's kind of something I've been interested in upon rewatching. But so that this party ends whenever Sana throws water on Ingrid and Sarah, right? Isn't it them?
Yeah.
It's always them.
I think you just hear shrieking.
I think the way that they leave the
party.
I think the way they leave the party is almost like as iconic as the way they walk up to the party.
For sure.
Like it like kind of solidified their friend group. Like you know, like I don't know if they were all I don't think they realized they were as committed to each other as they were in that moment when they all had to make the decision to leave.
They're like we ride together.
And like you don't find that loyalty anymore, especially among millennials. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but like I thought it was cool that it did seem kind of like an old school mentality of like, you don't ask questions. You know, if somebody from your group is in a fight, you show up and you don't ask, and then you can talk about it later.
I feel like that's
if your
more
friend...
of a younger person thing. Like I hate this conversation.
Really?
But for sure. Like I
think
like
that's more of like OG mentality.
I don't think so at all. I mean, I also don't fucking know. Like I feel like that like the kids these days are so much more like feeling, and like if you're there like with your girls or your friends, I don't know. I mean, I'm editing this
I feel
out
like it maybe skipped our generation.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I say this as like as a millennial and someone who also just like loves what young people bring to everything. I know. To, like spaces and but like I think about like my older cousins or like older family friends and like the rules of whether it was like a street fight and it was like if your boy is in a fight, like you have to be ready to like throw hands and then you can ask them what happened later. But like you have to have their back. Or like I think about my parents. I think some of that is specific to like immigrant experience, but it was just like again this sense of like if one person's in it, everybody's in it. You don't ask questions, you do it, you know, deal with it later. I don't feel like that's necessarily something that I've found until like my early 20s. Like I didn't feel like the people. Well, actually, you know what? This might be accurate then, because I feel very much like the Senna, like the one who was always like loyal and ready to throw down for my friends. But then sometimes I would like have to turn around and be like, where's everyone? Oh, okay. So like when I'm the one who needs like reinforcements, other people aren't ready to show up. But they did for her in this moment. You know, they all did.
Yeah, and like for all the like trash talk I can do about Vilda, like she plants one more like great kiss on William's face and then like leaves. I was like, and in that moment I was like, ooh, Vilda, good job.
I also love how she stumbled. Like there, it's just perfect how that moment is all captured.
Yeah, they're like, oh
like,
fuck,
each person exited in the way that you know was like true to their character, including her. And she was like, wait, and I don't know, it's all very endearing.
I love that part.
And that's
so much.
that's the end of the episode.
300,000 kroner!
Okay, listeners, so we're going to play a game that we're going to set up as a poll on our Tumblr and our Twitter. And the initials of the game are FMK. Marry and kill are two of the options. And just to be like really honest with you all, I don't feel comfortable saying the F word in this context, which I realize is an issue, but I am just like so squeamish. So the three options for this game are going to be Jonas, Penetrator Chris, and William. And we're going to give you our answers right now, too.
I would marry Jonas because he seems fun. I'm all about that skater life.
Do you think he's pretty? Be honest.
I think he's pretty. Yes, he is. To see those brows every day, I would.
Maybe he'd let you brush them.
The eyebrows that he dreams behind.
Wait, what?
We're just making fun of you. It's fine.
No, wait, what does that mean?
I'm just saying, like, Eva waking up next to him and then he's talking about the dream. Just like his brows and
yeah.
Was not that deep.
Okay, yeah. I would marry him for sure. I would kill William, sadly, but he just seems like I couldn't marry him because I think he'd bore me, and he's like so intense all the time. And I'd rather do the other with the other. To put it delicately.
You have to say what's his name?
I would rather canoodle with Penetrator Chris. Because he's probably really good at canoodling.
Yeah.
Because of his name, Chris. Sam, what would you do?
I would kill Jonas.
That's so absurd.
And sleep with Penetrator Chris and marry William.
Why would you marry William?
I just like love a complicated, tragic person. Also, anyone who's like backstory is like super tragic. I just like want to like love them and show them that like the world can be good.
Yeah. Is that why you're a Christian? Jesus had a pretty gnarly upbringing when you think about it.
Yeah, I like never really put those things together. But maybe.
Maryam, what would you choose?
So I just like don't believe in killing people.
Okay. Way to set us all up for that.
Disappear forever.
God, I don't like making decisions. I always go back and forth. But okay, I would kill Will. That's yeah.
Just because it rhymes.
No, but also just let it live. I would kill Will, Liam, and yeah, okay. I mean, I also want to kill Jonas right now just because he's being annoying. Okay, so kill William, canoodle with Jonas, and marry Penetrator Chris. Yeah, I would not marry Jonas because like he talks about capitalism a lot and I talk about capitalism a lot and other social justice things, and it would just be like a lot. And I don't think we would have fun. We would just be doing too much like social justice stuff all the time. Which is not a problem.
Right.
But it would be difficult and draining for me. So I think Chris would bring the fun, keep it lighthearted. And
in your real life, balance. In your real life, do you ever want to be like? Do you want to be with someone who like isn't involved politically? Like someone who's just like fun to have around. Would you ever be with someone like that?
I don't think I could.
Yeah.
No, this is within the SKAM context.
No, I know, but
yeah, no, I don't think I could because I don't think that person would actually see me in like my full personhood because that view of the world is so much of like who I am at least right now.
But what if they like saw that and like were so encouraging, but like didn't? I don't know, like would go to the protests with you because they like support you, but like they wouldn't go alone. Like prior to meeting you.
I think that for me, if they went with me because of me, like because I was going, but they also believed it, that'd be great.
Right.
But if they were only going because of me and they don't actually care, that's like the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be fine, because I think I would look at it as like, wow, that's cool that maybe I was the entry point for them to that, and the fact that they were able to learn and grow is like cool.
And isn't that like the point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, so then I guess the point would then be, if we broke it off, if they continued attending, or
would you like
we're still kind of invested. What do you mean split up causes?
Like, I've got like feminism in prisons, like you get like Palestine and like poverty or something.
No, but it would be cool if they had expertise in like areas that I didn't,
right?
And I could, and then we could just like educate each other, because I think that would be an excellent exchange of labor.
Everything.
Instead of one person being the woke one, and then, so to speak, and then the one just kind of, I don't know, I haven't really thought about it. I guess we'll find out
next
what about
week
you,
on
The Bachelorette.
Alex is just looking to have a kid in the next 3 years. So
do you want children, or just a child?
No, I'm joking.
Ever?
No,
like ever?
No. No, never. No. I tweeted the other day, I was like, I will only ever want a kid if they'll be famous. I can like manage their Twitter. Because I love going on like child actors' Twitters and seeing like managed by my mom Angie. Like I like want to be the
like
mom
what's
Angie.
his name? Jacob
Tremblay.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He's so cute.
Yes, please. We'd like some pills for 4 girls. 100 boys. Do we have to pay? If we have a friend here who's called Vilde, if she maybe can flash, so we don't need to pay in cash, maybe we can do that. Or maybe we can get Nora to do it. No, we don't do that. Hello.
We're also introducing a new segment called Where Are They Now and What Are They Doing? And this is just kind of an update about like what the cast or the crew or Queen Julie are up to. And obviously everyone's doing the most right now. And there's so much content. But so we're just going to pick like a couple favorite things maybe every episode about like what the kids are up to.
So I'm very excited about this one because it feels like an actual continuation of the show. It's very in character. And so Cengiz is going to be on Dancing with the Stars in Norway.
Yeah, that's going to be so exciting. I'm living for all the promos, like the pics and the vids.
Do you guys think that he's going to do a dance to a song by The Weeknd?
Well,
I mean, if he doesn't, that's like a missed opportunity.
There was
at least for their promo somewhere.
Well, there was like a behind the scenes video, and he was doing the "I Feel It Coming" thing.
I know.
So I don't know, but I feel like he's gonna get really far because he's like also a dancer.
A dancer.
Yeah.
That's but I just I love. It feels like he did it for the fans, and I know he did it for himself and his career, but it just feels like a choice.
What?
Like he was like,
no, he did it for us.
Everything is for us.
Everything is for us. It's you. It's you. I think he'll probably get really far. I do find it hysterical when Dancing with the Stars, whatever country's iterations, like have people with a dancing background, or like whenever Simone Biles, is it Biles?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever she was on, or like Normani from Fifth Harmony, like
Fifth Harmony, yeah.
People with like actual dance, like people who dance to get paid. I mean, not like the way that sounds, but
who get paid. So yeah, that's the Where Are They Now and What Are They Doing for this week.
Yay!
Are you guys gonna watch? Are you gonna try to keep up?
Oh, I definitely will. Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch all of his routines the same way I watch any dancing show.
Yeah.
I just watch routines on YouTube later.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll go far, I think. I have no idea who else is competing.
I mean, like, don't worry, listeners. We will keep you updated each week on how he's doing.
I also am curious about Norwegian viewers because like I'm interested in what the demographic of people watching is. Like,
older.
Is it people in their mid-30s and above?
Much
or is
above.
You know, so like, are they gonna have any idea who he is?
Right.
And maybe this will even be like an excellent conversation starter between like parents and their kids, because they might start watching it because they're SKAM fans.
No, I could definitely see like young Norwegian like fans of SKAM and Cengiz like watching it and like voting for him.
Yeah.
In the same way that they like Dancing with the Stars a few seasons ago tried to bring on some like motherfuckers who were on Vine to get like young people watching, and that was horrendous. But this is great, and I think it'll be good.
Yeah, and I bet you like they've told Cengiz, you know, like we're hoping that you will bring in this audience, and I'm sure he's going into it like a little more confident than when he started. You know, because like he knows he has this fan base.
Right. He was chosen for a reason.
And it's his talent.
And it's his time.
So that's where are they now? What are they doing?
E-Box, give me the beat.
And our final segment that we're introducing is called Tak. Was that a good pronunciation? I struggle to learn any new language. And this is just going to be kind of like around the horn. Thank you. What?
I said, how American of you. You said you struggle to learn language.
Oh, and then I said around the horn, which is something I don't think I've ever said before.
I don't even know what that means.
But we're just going to go around and say something thank you in the SKAM world, in the not SKAM world. Just talk. What are you talking today, Maryam?
Well, I just realized that what I'm talking is going to have to go into the next episode because it has to do with my where are they now and what are they doing.
Okay, so maybe do a different one.
So maybe somebody else should start while I think about it really quickly.
Okay.
Okay, so Sam, who are you talking? Or you want to ask it because you set up the clip.
Sam, who do you say talk to today?
You know what I watched on YouTube the other day? Riz Ahmed was on Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or some sort of late night show, and he did like a spoken word piece that I thought was really poignant and beautiful, and definitely was a great platform to share that experience and that narrative. So I'm thankful for him for doing that. Because I thought it was important for people to hear, and because he chose to do it on like a late night show like that, people who normally wouldn't. I mean, I listen to Sweatshop Boys, like I've listened to him before, so I'm familiar with his work, but by doing it on that particular show, he was able to reach a lot of people that maybe he wouldn't have before with a really important message. So
yes, we love Riz.
Alex, I'm still thinking about who I'm saying talk to, so why don't you take it away?
I don't know.
Talk it away.
I'm gonna say talk to okay. I just think so we were like talking a lot about Jonas this episode, obviously, and I just want to say like talk to Marlon, however, as a whole, because I like following him on social media. He seems like a very like fun, nice, like joyous person, and it doesn't seem like he's ever trying to like front for cred or like, you know, like to be cool like some people who were on the show later on in the series.
Name names.
No, never. But like just following him on social and like seeing him hang out with like Carl. I don't know. I think he has such like a fun spirit that, I mean, even Julie talked about how she kind of adapted the character of Jonas like into more of like who Marlon is, because that she didn't know that he was like this like skater kid like hanging out outdoors all the time. And so like Marlon's like been at all these festivals after the show, and to me it seems like he is the most like his character, and he like presents the type of like, apart from like Carl, who I think is also quite like a S-Guild, I think he presents like the vibe that the show like offered and gave people like very naturally, and I think that is like such a like cool gift for all of like SKAM fans who keep up with him. So I just want to give him a shout out. Talk.
Okay. So can I do two, or is it only one?
Seriously, you couldn't come up with any, and now you're doing two?
Yeah, so You can do like half of one, maybe.
Okay. They'll be quick.
Okay.
So I want to say talk to everyone who's listening to our podcast. And
no, but seriously, thank you all so much. We'd be nothing without you.
Specifically, do not ride my wave, Alex. Specifically to people who have been like tweeting at us and sending us messages on Tumblr. It really does like make it so fun to actually have conversations with people beyond the three of us. And then I want to say talk to Vic Mensa, who I try to bring up as much as possible. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Let me have my moment.
Which one?
I want to say as many as I want because I can take up the space. I want to...
She's here. Deal with it.
Talk to Vic Mensa, that's V-I-C, for updating his Instagram story from Palestine this week. I thought it was really cool. And was it?
Oh my.
You want to be involved in all
I'm
of
trying to be an ally.
You hate on them?
So.
Right.
So let me talk over you.
Things are getting so tense.
Oh, this is just me being honest. You know, real. No, yeah. So I thought that was cool and just like a cool show of activism and solidarity.
I agree.
Yes. I do as well. But I'm nervous. But I agree.
Free Palestine, y'all.
What'd you say?
Free Palestine, y'all.
Oh,
Let's do that by the next episode, okay?
What are we doing the next episode?
Wouldn't that be amazing if this podcast freed Palestine?
Hey.
Wouldn't it just, though? Anywho, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the SKAM Watch Podcast. We'll be back next talking about Season 1, Episode 5, in which Vilda sets off on a very specific journey. If you enjoyed this podcast, which we hope you do, you can go to iTunes and rate and review it, and that would be super cool. It's okay if you don't. I honestly haven't done that, and I love a lot of podcasts, although I should, because it's quite nice, I think. But thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back very soon. You can find us at theskamwatchpodcast.tumblr.com. And you can find us now on Twitter at SKAMWatchPod. Thank you all so much, and we will talk to you very, 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 very soon. Bye.